Hello dear students, welcome to Pen and Paper Chemistry. The topic for this video is the VSEPR theory, lesson number 2. For this you will need the entire paraphernalia, you will need a pen, a paper, some old calendar and definitely some colored pencils will really come in handy. Why? Let's see. Now in this particular video we are talking about distorted geometries. What do we mean by distorted geometries? As long as the electron pair is being managed by two of the atoms between them, the electron pair remains under control of the two nucleus. So it can't move away much. And when we get a lone pair into the picture, we discussed earlier how this lone pair can be very naughty and very rowdy and starts pushing these bond pair of electrons away. And by the way, this lone pair is so unaccommodating that it doesn't get along well with the other lone pair as well. Okay? So with the result, the repulsion between two lone pairs is the highest, followed by the repulsion between a lone pair and a bond pair of electrons. And the least, the most timid ones are the bond pair. The entire reason for this shape or geometry of the molecule is to ensure that the entire structure has as little energy as possible. High energy means restlessness. Absolutely. You must be knowing from your own example. The day you are full of energy, you've had a lot of sugars, you are high on energy and then you are temperamental and then you are jumpy and you want to be all over the place, right? So we've got the lone pair is the unbonded valence pair. The bond pair is the bonded valence pair of electrons. In case you are not sure about these terms, we have already discussed these in detail in video number 1. My earnest request is to please go through that video if you are unsure, and you can always come back to this video. I will not take it down from the channel. We had done case 1 wherein we had taken 3 electron pairs wherein we talk about 2 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. This is the first example that we are taking up over here. Now here we've got 2 bond pairs. So 3 electron pairs means if we are talking about regular geometry, they will be oriented so that they are maximum distance apart from each other, making a bond angle of 120 degrees. The shape should be trigonal planar. I am using the word should be because what happens is as soon as this grumpy lone pair comes into the picture, so we still have 3 pairs of electrons to handle, out of which 2 are bond pairs and 1 is lone pair, the grumpy lone pair. And he tends to push the other 2 bond pairs away from itself. So with the result, what will happen is they'll definitely come closer to each other. So when they come closer to each other, the bond angle no longer remains 120 degrees. It becomes less than that. The shape is no longer trigonal planar. The shape is decided by the bond pair of the arrangement of the bond pairs. So with the result, what we get here is a V shape. You see the game being played by the lone pair. You want to see one more example? Let's go ahead. So I've got this arrangement where we had the tetrahedral arrangement of atoms, right? So we are talking about 4 atoms bonded to each other, and we had taken the example of CH4. Now this was a very happy family and all oriented nicely. And what happens when there comes in a lone pair of electrons? Let's see. There we go. As soon as the lone pair comes in, it takes up the place of one of the atoms. So we still have 4 pairs of electrons to take care of. If you talk in terms of hybridization, it's again sp3 hybridization. But what happens? Here we have the grumpy Mr. Lone Pair who tries to push the bond pair of electrons away from itself. We saw that lone pair bond pair repulsion is greater than the bond pair repulsion. So with the result, they get closer to each other. Bond angle no longer remains 109 degrees, it reduces to 107 degrees. The shape, see, it is like this and this. It's a pyramid, right? So what happens is it becomes a pyramid structure now. Can you imagine what will happen if 2 lone pair of electrons come into the picture? Oh my God, that will be even more congested situation. There you go, look at that. So we've got now 2 lone pairs who push these bond pair of electrons even further. So what happens is the bond angle further reduces to 104.5 or 105 degrees if rounded off. The shape also changes from tetrahedral to a bent or V shape. Let us now see the entire scenario in its totality. We had the first case where we had only bond pair of electrons. Now, in the chart that I am going to give you, I am going to write it as AB4, where A is the central atom and B are the bond pair of electrons, like this. So this becomes my AB4. Here we've got 1 lone pair of electrons. So that's an electron pair. So we will write it as AB3E. E stands for the lone pair of electrons. Only electrons, no other atom. There is no bonding there. Right? Whereas this, we are going to write it as AB2E2. Notice over here, there's a number that I'm writing. The bond pair is 4. So that's its coordination number. Here bond pair is 3. But overall, there are 4 pairs of electrons. So 3 pairs here and 1 electron pair over here. This number also is 4. 2 bond pairs, 2 lone pair of electrons. This number is also 4. What does this number 4 stand for? This number is called as steric number. It may not be mentioned in some of the textbooks. It is entirely up to you. You want to add it to your kitty or not. You can ignore it as well. But simply understand what we mean by AB3E and AB2E2. You know, this comes up in so many books. I myself used to get confused. So just for clarity, that is why I am splitting it down for you. The number of electron pairs in each one of them is the same. By the way, if you study them in terms of hybridization also, all 3 of them undergo sp3 hybridization. But each of them has a different shape. Tetrahedral, pyramidal shape, bent or V shape. Tetrahedral, methane, carbon tetrachloride, all these are examples of tetrahedral molecules. Pyramidal, like ammonia. Bent or V shape, like water. Now you'll come across many examples like that. There we go. 5 electron pairs. So we could have 4 bond pairs Of course, first is the original case where we had the trigonal planar structure. I hope you can recall whatever we did in lesson 1. Now let's start replacing the bond pairs by the lone pairs. So we've got 4 bond pairs, 1 lone pair, 3 bond pairs, 2 lone pairs, 2 bond pairs, 3 lone pairs. Oh my God, becoming difficult to understand, right? Why not get our Play-Doh or atta kneaded dough and our colored pencils out to make life a little simpler for us? We don't want to memorize things like that, do we? No, I don't want to. So let me give you a taste of something more practical. So are you ready with the Play-Doh and some pencils? Right, okay, let's go ahead. Now the first case that we had done when we were talking about bond pairs was when there are 2 atoms involved, and we had said that this is linear. The second case that we had done was when there are 3 atoms involved or 3 bond pairs involved, and they try to arrange themselves so that they are maximum distance apart, right? And that time we had got, yes, absolutely, a trigonal planar structure. Now when we are talking about distorted geometry, there we go. This one goes away, and what we've got is its place is now being occupied by the lone pair. Now this lone pair, I have drawn it separately. Now you know that lone pairs, they are a class apart, and they want to be different from others, and they are kind of pushy kinds. Come on, make way for me, make way for me. Come on, you can't be so close to me, right? Whereas these two have to orient themselves so that they are in between the nuclei of the 2 atoms. So with the result, what will happen is the original bond angle that we had said was 120 degrees now reduces, and we have what we call as a bent shape. In chemical bonding, we've already done that covalent bonds are directional bonds, right? They have to adjust according to the other atoms. So with the result, its shape changes. The shape will be decided by, or the shape will be defined by, to be more exact, by the bonded pair of electrons. Go on to when there are 4, when the steric number is 4. What is the steric number? Yes, it is the total number of bond pairs and the lone pair of electrons around the central atom. Now recall methane, right? The structure, absolutely right. It's tetrahedral structure. That's how it should be, right? For AB, 4 types of atoms, wherein the central atom is bonded to 4 other atoms. No, we don't like it. So we bring in a lone pair over here. What is the tendency of the lone pair? To be bossy. Come on. Make way for me. Come on. He starts fighting with the others. So what we call as lone pair, bond pair repulsion. And this is bond pair repulsion. Now the bond pair category are of the same type. They understand the pain. Oh yes, I can understand your problem. He is one of those fighty kinds. Let's adjust. So they come closer to each other, whereas it is this lone pair which wants to have the maximum share of this central atom. Now you look at this. Here, it forms a pyramid. Does this remind you of the shape of any molecule? Absolutely. Ammonia. Ammonia has a pyramidal shape. Now, if you recall hybridization as well, there also we study that although it is sp3 hybridized, ammonia has pyramidal shape, and that is explained by the presence of this possessive lone pair of electrons. The mischief maker is what we will call him as. So with the result, the shape becomes trigonal pyramid. See, there's a triangle at the base and it is forming a pyramid. What if there comes another lone pair? Wow, there seems to be some fun over there. Let me also go. And he comes. Now this lone pair starts dominating the scene. There are two of them. They start pushing this bond pair even closer. You see, poor bond pair. Yes, they turn into a V shape. V shape. Which molecule did you do V shape? Correct, water. Again, sp3 hybridization, but a V-shaped bond angle is 104 degrees because of the presence of these two lone pair of electrons. The lone pairs, they actually don't get along with each other also. They don't get along with the bond pair. They don't get along with each other also. So they are like, they are going to push each other the maximum. The force of repulsion that will be there between the two will be the highest compared to the force of repulsion between a lone pair and a bond pair, and which in turn is higher than a bond pair repulsion. So lone pair greatest, followed by lone pair, bond pair, and lastly is the bond pair kinds, the meekest one. It's like, okay, I'll adjust with everybody, no problem, right? So this brings about a distortion in the geometry of the molecule. I'm actually waiting for you to get the Play-Doh, get the pencils, try it yourself. You know, the kind of embedding that will happen when you do it yourself will be very good. Guarantee you will not have to look into your notebook when you have the exam. So you see over here, and also notice that again it's a three-dimensional structure, but to make it simple for you to understand, that's how we are showing it, that it's a V shape, correct? Okay, let's move on to the next one where we had 5. Okay, let's recollect what we had done when we had 5 of the bond pairs. That means 5 atoms bonded to the central atom. Can you recall what we did in video number 1? Correct. 3 in one plane forming a triangle. Correct. And 1 above it and 1 below it, making what we call as, go ahead, it's a pyramid, triangular, and there are 2 pyramids, one above and one below. So triangular bipyramidal structure. What do we bring in now? Absolutely, we bring in a lone pair of electrons. Come on, this lone pair starts bossing around. He says, give me some space. Okay. Now, you have to see over here where I have put the lone pair is. This is called as the axial position, axis, right? The lone pair could also have occupied this position called as the equatorial position. Just like the equator goes around the earth and this is the axis of the earth, just correlate to that. As simple. Now, you have to understand the kind of repulsive forces which are at play. This is at 120 degrees, assuming that it is normal geometry. This is 120, right? So it's far apart. Come to this bond, you see? There's 90 degree and this is a bond pair, this is a lone pair. This is a bond pair, this is a lone pair. So what do we have over here is the kind of repulsion is there happening over here is lone pair, bond pair repulsion, lone pair, bond pair repulsion. If this lone pair was occupying this position, then what is it facing? Lone pair, bond pair, lone pair, bond pair, lone pair, bond pair. Look at the kind of repulsions it has to face. So which one will it choose? The equatorial position, wherein it had only got to face 2 lone pair, bond pair repulsions, or the axial where it was facing 3. Yes, it will choose the easy route where there is less of trouble for it. So what it does is it chooses the, yes, what position is it? It's the equatorial position is what it chooses. So what happens to the shape of the molecule? Look at this. It's a nice fun game that we've made. Yes, it's the seesaw. Look at this way as well. It's the seesaw arrangement. And when you will draw, you are showing one bond pointed towards you. There is one bond pointing away from you. There's one bond pointing towards the left. There's one bond pointing towards the right. Okay. Time to bring in some more fun. And by the way, I'm going to give you a chart which will help you to remember these as well. And these are simple to make. You can make them yourselves also for easy understanding. Here comes another lone pair. It says, wow, there's so much fun over there. Why not give it a try? So now we have to arrange them. These can be arranged in different ways. What are those different ways? Now here I have is, I've got lone pair repulsion. My God, that's too much to handle, right? Lone pair repulsion. And there is this lone pair, bond pair, lone pair, bond pair. So we need to keep these lone pairs away from each other. So how do we keep them away from each other? Let's give it a try. Okay, 3 in 1 plane. Can we do it like this? Okay, let's see the kind of repulsions they are facing. So there is lone pair, bond pair, lone pair, bond pair, lone pair, bond pair. Each of the lone pairs is facing lone pair, bond pair repulsions. Let's look at something else also. Okay, how about these two oriented equatorially? So we have the two lone pairs like this, and we've got the bond pairs arranged like this axially. Look at this structure. So we've got the bond pair here, and this is the bond pair, whereas the lone pairs are at the edges of the triangle. Correct? Now what is happening is, only two repulsions they are facing. Of course, there's lone pair repulsion, but here it is facing only lone pair, bond pair, lone pair, bond pair. So two lone pair, bond pair repulsions. That's good enough. That's better than facing 3 lone pair, bond pair repulsions. So what happens is, this is the best arrangement for them. Okay, I'll adjust with you. It's okay. I can manage as long as I have to face less problems with the bond pairs. Now look at the structure. What structure do you see? See the blue ones. See the blue. What shape do you see over here? Correct. It's green. My color sense is not so good. Fine. So this and this, what alphabet does it remind you of? Very good. It's the T shape. Correct. Time to introduce one more lone pair. And what is the best possible arrangement for this lone pair to stay away from the others? Absolutely. When they are occupying all the axial positions. See, this is how I'll put it, right? They are occupying all the axial positions and, all the equatorial positions, and your bond pairs are occupying the axial position. So what shape do you see over here? Look at the two here, the blue colors. Absolutely, this becomes linear now. Are you drawing it? Are you making it yourself as well? Believe me, it is a lot easier. I couldn't understand it as well as when I was doing my studies as much as I have understood today while making this video. I am being very, very very honest with you. Okay, and thanks to the subscriber who requested for it. Okay, would you like to try the steric number 6? That means you've got a possibility of 6 bond pairs, or you've got a possibility of 5 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. Yes, go on. So we've got over here 4 in one plane, 1 above and 1 below. What we've said is the octahedral shape. All bond angles 90 degrees, right? What do we bring in now? Yes, we bring in the naughty fighty lone pair. There he comes. Pushes them slightly away. Now, since all the bond angles are 90 degrees, here we've got a square shape, right? Look at this. So we've got a square shape here for the blue ones, and this is, they are pointed down. So we've got a pyramid over here. You can see it like this as well, right? So we've got a pyramid over here, and we call this shape, yes, the shape is according to the bond pairs because their position is fixed. This bond pair has to align itself according to the other atom, whereas this one is a free bird. He's going to occupy as much space as possible. So what we've got over here is a square and a pyramid. So this is called as the square pyramidal shape. What if we get one more lone pair? Look at that. Yes, this is the best way to keep them away from each other. Correct? So what shape is it called? It's again a square, right? Look at the blue ones. Square, but they are all in one plane. So makes it square planar. So with the help of colored pencils, you can visualize these structures yourself even without animating them. You just have to try once. Okay? So let's go on and see the chart. If it is helpful for you, I'm going to give you a small chart which will come in handy when you have to, remember it or revise it for your examinations. A bird's eye view of the entire theory. For that, in case if you can grab hold of some old calendar, it will be very good. Now this is the chart that I've been talking about. This is, again, I've made it on the back side of an old calendar. And if you observe carefully, the first column is indicating the steric number, that is the total sum of the bond pair and the lone pair of electrons. The second column is regular geometry, when a molecule has only bond pair of electrons. Third column, when it acquires one lone pair. Next column is if it has two lone pairs, what will be the change in the shape. Then the three lone pairs. Let's see. So we've got steric number 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 is what we've covered. By the way, this chart is not exhaustive. You can still add more structures to it. But if you are a student of class 11, 12 or even your graduation first year, this should be sufficient. Now, along with the regular geometry and the distortions, we have given examples as well. So if you notice over here, I've tried to include the bond angle, the shapes, so that everything becomes very, very clear in one paper itself, and we do not have to flip through 10-20 pages or maybe 2-3 books sometimes. Yes, please, you can please go ahead and make best use of this. I'll try to give you a close-up of each and every row. Go ahead, because if I put a picture, it does not come out that clearly. You are most welcome to add more examples to it. Now, if you see in these structures, these orange lines that I have drawn are basically to indicate the shape. So the base shape is trigonal, and there's one above it and one below it. Same way, the dash and the wedge formula, which I'm sure you must be familiar with, where one is directed towards you and one is directed away from you. These are the lone pair of electrons. Again, we have the lone pair of electrons and the shapes with the examples. And you can very clearly see here. This is my entire chart. So if I put it close to my study desk, and I don't need to memorize it. Even if I look at it once or twice in a day for 2-3 consecutive days, I am clear with it. And in fact, if you try doing the structures yourself, nothing better than that. Hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I enjoy teaching it. Happy studying and happy learning to all of you.